Barbie has been a reflection of the history of the world since the year she was invented. Her body, her clothes, and her job have reflected what is happening in the world around her. Yet, Barbie evolves and changes only when the rest of the world does. The first Barbie was invented in 1959 by Ruth Handler, who is considered Barbie's mom. Ruth was inspired to create Barbie for her young daughter Barbara because she realized that pretending about the future was part of the growing up process. The Barbie doll was invented so girls could envision themselves as successful young women who have the power to be anything they want. Ruth Handler's husband, Elliot Handler, was a co-founder of Mattel Inc., and when Ruth proposed the idea of the Barbie doll, he and the board of directors in Mattel loved the idea. After months of designing and some inspiration from the Lily doll in Germany, Barbie became the #1 selling toy in Mattel. Barbie was unique for her time because all the other dolls on the market were either babies or toddlers, making Barbie the first ever teenager or adult doll in the United States. Ruth built the doll with the help of her husband in her garage, not knowing she was creating a product that would be used by millions of little girls for decades to come. What started out as a simple doll for her daughter to play with led to a multi-million-dollar company, one of the most famous and commonly used toys in the world, and most importantly, led to thousands of controversies in popular culture over body image, racism, and gender roles. The Barbie was invented in the midst of the women's equals rights movement, when women were simply viewed as housewives who clean the house and take care of the children. Gender roles were huge in the 1960s. Men earned for their families while women took care of it. The first working Barbie doll came out in 1961 as Nursing Barbie, just around the time where housewives across America were taking a stand and leaving their homes to work. The same year the first working Barbie came out, President John F. Kennedy established the President's Commission on the Status of Women and appointed his wife Eleanor as chairwoman. The report issued by the commission in 1963 documents substantial discrimination against women in the workplace and makes specific recommendations for improvement, including fair hiring practices, paid maternity leave, and affordable childcare. Shortly after Kennedy created this Commission on the Status of Women, Mattel released 2 new dolls, Dentist Barbie and Nurse Barbie. Both jobs were still somewhat typical women jobs in the 1960s, especially nursing, but Barbie showed how the life for women was changing through her own clothing and jobs. From slavery to the civil rights movements, race has been one of the most controversial issues in the U.S. for the past 100 years. Inequality between races has dated all the way back to 1619, when the first 20 slaves imported into Britain's North American colonies brought to Jamestown. Slavery continued on until 1865, but that was not the end of racial discrimination. The civil rights movement was an era between 1954 and 1968 that African Americans fought for their rights. Finally, in 1968, they got their rights by law through the Civil Rights Act of 1968. For the first 9 years of Barbie's existence, she was always white. It was not until 1968 that this changed. Coincidentally, 1968 was also the end of the civil rights movement. Once African Americans finally got their rights under the law in 1968, then Mattel was influenced by this event and released their first black Barbie doll that same year. Her name was Francie. She was produced using the existing head molds for the white dolls and hence lacked African physical characteristics. The first African American doll in the Barbie world is usually regarded as Christie, who made her debut in 1968. Although African Americans are equal under the law, there is still prejudice and inequality among the black community. This can be seen through the current sales of African American Barbies. In 2010, Walmart was accused for selling their African American Barbie dolls for nearly half the price as their Caucasian dolls. ABC News article quotes, "To prepare for spring inventory, a number of items are marked for clearance," spokeswoman Melissa O'Brien said in an email regarding a picture of a black Barbie being sold nearly half the price as a white doll sitting next to her on the same shelf. "Both are great dolls," quotes Melissa O'Brien. The red price sticker indicates that this particular doll was on clearance when the photo was taken, and though both dolls were priced to the same start, one was marked down due to its lower sales to hopefully increase purchase from customers. Although the African American dolls were not technically sold for less than the Caucasian dolls, they put the African American dolls on sale due to the lower purchases. The inequality is not presented directly through the producers, but through the pressure of society put on the consumers. Body image has always been a big problem in the United States because of its effects such as eating disorders, mental health, and bullying. Over 75% of bullying in the American public school system is based around weight and appearance, which leads to low self-esteem and a negative change in body perception. This is caused because of society's image of beauty and perfection, to which the Barbie doll not only encourages but feeds into. Barbie's body is unrealistic, but yet since girls are exposed to this image and taught to play pretend with them, they can't help but wish they had a body like Barbie's, a body to which society approves of. Originally, Barbie's body consisted of perfectly straight or wavy hair, flawless skin, a thin waist, a flat stomach, extremely thin legs, and slightly curved in the front and in the back. Mattel claims that Barbie proportioned her this way so that girls could easily dress and undress her into different outfits. But wouldn't it be just as easy, if not easier, to modify a doll's clothes rather than her body? Over the last 5 years, eating disorders and body image problems among preteen and teenage girls has skyrocketed, and people across America found someone to blame and to target: Barbie. The Washington Post, the New York Times, and millions of mothers and doctors across America said Barbie's body created a negative influence for young girls. They claim she aspires unhealthy lifestyles that potentially lead to eating disorders and mental illnesses. On January 28, 2016, following the patterns of Barbie following current national events, Mattel released 3 new Barbies: tall, curvy, and petite. This was a major breakthrough because after years of people judging Barbie's body, Mattel finally modified the doll. These were the first Barbies to truly resemble normally proportioned girls. They came in different sizes, skin tones, hair colors, and facial expressions. Little girls now have the option to play with dolls who look more like they do, which in the long run will hopefully decrease negative body image and promote diversity. Barbie's life has been quite eventful. She has been influential and significant to the American people, particularly young girls. She is a reflection of milestones throughout American history over the last 50 years. In 1965, the first man walked on the moon, and in that same year, Barbie became an astronaut for little girls to play with. In the 1980s, American women started to break into the C-suite and taking part in important executive roles in big corporations. In that same time period, Mattel mimicked the change by producing CEO Barbie. In the decade of 1970 to 1980, over 20,000 women graduated from medical school, breaking records. During those 10 years, Barbie became a surgeon. Barbie has done an incredible job keeping up with the rest of the world in order to influence young girls to be strong and to change their perspectives at an early age so they can grow up to believe in themselves. It's astounding how a 57-year-old doll can still continue to be so popular among kids. Barbie will continue to change for the better present. After all, that's why she was created, to meet the needs of aspiring young girls. Barbie should make little girls feel empowered, beautiful, and intelligent. As long as the world keeps evolving, so will Barbie. The Barbie doll will forever be a role model and an agent of change for little girls.